the kingdom of heaven. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Someone in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, tell my brother to share the inheritance with me." He replied to him, "Friend, who appointed me as your judge and arbitrator?" Then he said to the crowd, "Take care to guard against all greed, for though one may be rich, one's life does not consist of possessions." Then he told them a parable. There was a rich man whose land produced a bountiful harvest. He asked himself, "What shall I do? For I do not have space to store my harvest." And he said, "This is what I shall do. I shall tear down my barns and build larger ones. There I shall store all my grain and other goods, and I shall say to myself, 'Now, as for you, you have so many good things stored up for many years. Rest, eat, drink, be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this night your life will be demanded of you. And the things you have prepared, to whom will they belong?' Thus it will be for all who store up treasure for themselves, but are not rich in what matters to God." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord.
Lord Jesus Christ.
Recently, I've noticed in most places, wherever I happen to be driving around, a certain sign has begun to pop up on people's lawns. And it says, "Drive as if your children lived here." And so I oblige and speed up. If I had children, I would want them to learn how to be able to defend themselves in life. It's not always what you expect. So either be a hood ornament or get out of the way. Here I come. No. We know what that sign means. Drive carefully, be respectful, take care. And yet, I do notice, as you happen to watch traffic, that it doesn't seem to make any difference whatsoever. People interpret as they will. Well, that sign's not for me. I'm doing fine. We can take that same understanding to Scripture today. In our lives, especially in our society, there is a tendency to always want to have and have much. Somehow it never seems to be enough. We can always use this or that or the other thing, and we tend to accumulate, and in severe cases, hoard. And we have a superabundance of whatever it might be. For what purpose? God calls us today to truly step back and to take stock of our lives and what is truly important in this life. Is it really the things we surround ourselves with? Things that fade away, things that do not last forever, things that ultimately we cannot take with us. What is the purpose of what we have? For each of us, it's an important question. Because at the heart of this life, it's not about things, it's about relationship. It's about the lives of those around us. It's about how we enter into relationship, how we interact with one another, how we treat one another, how we look for the good in one another, and how we allow the good to flow out of ourselves in loving service to others. That's what this life is all about. And neither is any person our possession. Not spouse, not children, not neighbor, not friend. No. Not even our own very life belongs to us. It is a gift. A gift given with a purpose. To give glory to the one who created us. And we do that when we truly share our love with others. When we are generous and giving. Not counting the cost, but always seeking the good of the other. That's what we're called to do. Even that first reading that sounds so negative, so pessimistic. Everything's vanity. What good does it do for a man to toil under the sun and all that he does? But what the author is really trying to say is basically the same thing. All that we do is not supposed to be about ourselves. Then it becomes vanity. Then it becomes self-centered. But when we labor for the Lord in our lives, in all that we do, then we live our life as it was meant to be, as we were created to be here, preparing us to be with God always. And that's why Paul says, turn your mind to heavenly things. Look to what is good. Don't get caught up in the things of this world that ultimately have no meaning, that do not prosper us. They hold us back. That we set our heart in the Lord and not in the things of this world. That we use what the Lord gives us for the good. What is necessary, we use. What we don't need, we give. To have that healthy balance, that, as St. Alphonsus would say, that detachment from things. That we live our lives that way. That we recognize the goods of this world for what they are, and we use them well. But that we don't seek to have more and more and more, so that the things of this world become something bigger than they are and end up possessing us. It really is, brothers and sisters, a matter of really paying attention to our lives, to our values, to our habits, to our priorities. And where we see that materialism, that consumerism, whatever you want to call it, is creeping in, that we let go. We ask the Lord for the strength to let go and to trust and to turn our mind to what is important. The people around us, the God who is with us, calling us to that loving service, that care for one another. We gather this evening, brothers and sisters, to receive a treasure beyond our understanding in the Eucharist. We couldn't ask for anything greater. But when our minds and our hearts are turned to other things, even receiving Jesus into ourselves does not bring about the transformation it should, because our minds and our hearts are not in Him. We have this gift freely given that we will receive in a few moments. Let us ask the Lord to help us to reprioritize, to refocus our lives in little ways and great ways, whatever we need to do with His help in order to have that right vision, that right understanding, and that true desire to live as the Lord calls us to be free as He has made us to be, in order that we can joyfully share all that we have, all that we are, with others.